Hey, there we go. Hi.
Hi.
Hey, everyone. We are doing our weekly Zoom call, free coaching call, and it's in our quickening movement group, and excited to do it today. Beth and I were getting on, and today we're going to be talking about something it's really the foundation of what this movement is, and the organization is leadership and coaching and really us as leaders personally. So we have Beth. Hi, Beth.
Hi, Jen. Always glad to be here.
I know. I'm always glad you're here. So Beth is one of my best friends, one of my confidants and mentors, and just such a beautiful soul. She has helped to create with her husband this model of modality, I guess you would call it, definitely. There's another word I wanted to use, but of the Gibson-Banning method, which we are bringing in as quickening coaches and being trained so that we can go out there and do this work. And so she really is a master coach and a beautiful soul, one that I trust and love and I love her because we can just be open and talk about things in a way that is very productive and movement oriented. So forward. So I love it. Hey, Beth.
Hi. I just come on so I can love you. You can love me up and I can love you up.
I love it. I love it.
You know.
So do you want to share a little bit about what we're going to be talking about, or how do you want to start it?
Yeah, we can start. So Jennifer and I, every Sunday before our call, we go, what do we want to talk about, right? What's today? What's coming through us? What is calling to be explored, And we really, yesterday, what came to us is leadership. The whole organization is about leadership. It's about developing leaders. It's about allowing, hey, Jennifer Hall.
Hey.
So nice to see your face. We're just talking about what the call is today. So that's what we want to talk about today is leadership. And most of us, right, go on through our lives and we don't consider ourselves leaders. And that's one of the things we want to shift. We want everybody, really, and especially women, because, we haven't had the kind of authority and influence that we have to offer. So in this movement, I really, it's one of the reasons that I'm so excited and I'm here every week, is that your movement really is about supporting women, especially, of course, men as well, but women especially, to own their leadership, to own it, because each one of us is a leader. We really are. I don't care what you're doing in your life, you have influence at some level. And when we all start owning our influence and our leadership, this world will change. So that's what we're here to talk about today. And one of the ways that this organization is supporting the development of leaders is through the coaching program. And that's really why I'm so excited. And that's why I put as much effort here as I can, because it's not, again, the coaching program, yes, you can take it. It's a certification course and you can take it out into the world, but it's about developing your own leadership as well. And as well even sounds bizarre, because I really think that's the foundation. It's growing in your confidence, your ability to get out there and influence the people that are in your life, regardless of how big the sphere is. So that was a short version of what we're going to do.
Oh, I love it. I love it. Well, it's funny when you mentioned ownership. I was over here looking up the word ownership. That's what I felt it really quick. And it was funny because, actually, it's super basic, right? We know what it says. There's one part of it that says exclusive right of possession. Exclusive right of possession. Okay, now just think about that for a second. When we are saying to own leadership, we're saying to own you. Really think about that. You are in possession of you, and nobody else is. Nobody else on this planet is in possession of you.
And that's the truth.
It's the truth.
Now, see, that's part of the challenge, is because we are trained from such a young age to believe that everybody else is our authority.
Yep.
That somehow they do own us in a way. Do you know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
They own our thoughts, our decisions, our actions out in the world, you know? So
Yep.
I love that you looked that up. That is awesome.
Well, and again, you think, oh, well, exclusive right of possession. You'd think it kind of, at first I was like, whoa, what does that really mean? But again, the point is that when we're leaders and we really step into the truth of who we are, well, first of all, I will say this. What I've noticed in my life is when I do step into my personal authority, when I know that and trust and start seeing who I really am, and I trust me and I know me, automatically I just am a leader. Meaning I actually do own that I'm a leader. It's been a very connected, automatic type of thing. And I think because that's what's been happening to me in my life, that's why this movement, I'm so passionate and deeply committed to others getting this, like really at that level that will support them to really achieve what they want and others around them.
You know, and there's something about what we were discussing last week as well about authenticity and what makes a powerful, inspiring leader. And that is really owning who you are, do you know? Because that's authenticity. It's owning it and living it out in the world, you know? And that's what, again, I don't care whether it's in your house with your children, out in the community with the schools, out with, you know, your neighbors, in the churches, wherever you are, if you're living authentically and owning who you are and owning your internal leadership, which is who we are, you are inspiring others. You are extending your influence into the world. And when we get to the heart of who we are, there is nothing more beautiful and more transformative than that, you know? So, but it really does come down to like discovering who we are. Half of us don't even really get who we are. I mean, these amazing beings we are.
So, and Jen, you're welcome to share something to you. I want you to know, Jen, I mean, we're right now, we're just wanting to get to talk about this, but one of the things that stands out when you're sharing that, Beth, is that you mentioned the challenges of a leader. So first, I just want to say, okay, let's just now, even if it's hard for anyone that's watching this, that would be watching this, that it would be hard for them to accept that they are a leader. Let's just assume we all are. Like
just pretend if you
just
can.
Pretend that you're a leader. We're all leaders. We're sitting here as leaders. We're in possession of us. And what are some of the, I mean, I think I'd love to just go into, maybe not right this minute or when you think would be the right time, because we have about 15 more minutes. What are the challenges of a leader? What keeps us from really having possession of us? Or, you know, and I don't know if we really want to go into detail about that, but that just came up. I would love to talk about. Hi, Dion.
Hi.
Hey, nice to see you. That's fun. I like the Zoom. The people just pop on.
I know.
Do you want to check though to see you guys came on to support or to be coached or what? So I want to make sure we're not.
It's a good question.
So let's check in.
I came on to listen and to see what you guys are teaching. It's so much better live and to be a part of it. So
awesome.
I don't need specific coaching, but I want to hear what you guys have to say.
You look gorgeous, by the way.
Yes, she really does. Dion.
Oh, I just saw the link and I just responded. I just did it. I just took action because I just finished teaching a class and I was like, okay, what's next? And so I was checking things and I said,
we are next.
We are next.
And that is so awesome.
I know.
Really, because that is one really of sign of owning your leadership. It's like, what's next? Take action. You know, what's next? Take action. And in this authentic, jumping in because it's.
No, I love that.
You know, it's like in this authentic living from your authentic self into your leadership. It really is about living in the moment and allowing the flow of your life to lead you, you know? And it's so awesome. So thank you. That was great. I love that you knew we were next.
It was a perfect example of how to really do this.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I don't know if
we can go into challenges of a leader, because I'm guessing a lot of people, you know, whether they know they're a leader or not, they have challenges. And maybe even to link, like, you know, again, even if we don't know we're a leader, we are.
Yeah,
like
exactly.
You're saying, at least pretend. So look at your life. What are your challenges?
Mm-hmm.
And what prevents you from living a full and influential life? I love that, you know.
Well, one thing, and if you guys want to share, Jen, did you have something to share?
I have one. I don't know if you're going to go over this or not, but I wrote down naysayers, people that tell us that we're wrong or that we can't do it, or that we're not doing it right.
Oh, I love that.
That's a good one.
Recently, and I had a big discussion about this with a friend last night, and just how some people are just not going to be along the same road that we are, along the same path.
It's so great. I love that. And, you know, one of the things that we teach in the course really is that, you know, there has to be this de-armoring process, because we are so trained to look and make sure we're right and not wrong, and who's telling us what, and paying more attention to everybody but ourselves, you know. And I know, you know, Jen's been in the course now for quite a while, and you know, getting to, like, yeah, everybody can tell me whatever they want, right? We don't have to like defend against them, do you know? But we can hear them and then decide. That's what the gift is, right? And that's where conflict comes from, is like, oh, you know, they're telling me I can't, well, then I have to fight against them. And we don't have to fight against them. Do you know? We can just listen, hear, and decide and choose. Nope, that's not for me. This road is mine, you know, and just keep moving on that path. What were you going to say, Jen?
Well, one thing I was going to add to this, I was actually reading a blog post from somebody who has had an experience very publicly for the last 5 years, and they basically have changed what they came out of in 5 years ago in public, and shifted basically their view on it, and very deeply, you know, it's a very deep thing that they're coming out in that can influence many people. And as you're talking, I'm just thinking that's probably one of the hardest, I think, for me personally, is the hardest thing, being an authentic leader, being a person who's out there, and the fear of growth out there as a leader. Because the more you grow and the more publicity, or the more people that know you, there's an expectation of, now this is how you show up. If you don't show up this way, something is wrong. And now, as Jen was talking, you're doing something wrong. So there's this deeply, like, I was just, that was hitting me. I think that's part of why I hesitate to step further into my truth, because of exactly that.
You know what I love about that too, Jen, and the piece of it that I want to add is that, because when you are really living authentically, you change.
Exactly.
And your opinions change, and what you know changes. And this is what I'm hearing you say, is that as you change, then you're going to be judged for being a liar or inauthentic.
And more often, you will be hit more often with it. And I even thought this morning, because it's happened to me, where I've had people, you know, as you go out, and I've had people say, you know, and this is obviously, but they've put me on kind of a pedestal in a certain way, which obviously we know is not healthy either. But what I'm saying is they've done that. And so if I haven't met a certain expectation, I'm just me, right. It scares the crap out of them, because they're like, wait, you are not. And then they don't even want to be around me anymore. They literally do not even want to be around me. And it's been hard, and it can shut you down, and then you have to go and reassess again.
I know. And you know, and it's so interesting, because people put you up on a pedestal so they can use you as an example, and live towards it, which is, it's fine. It's
beautiful too. It's actually beautiful.
But at that point where you're not living up to the expectations, then you fall off this pedestal, and then they are devastated as well. So, I mean, either way, it doesn't work. And if they learn to, as you're learning to, have the authority inside and use you as an inspiration. I mean, you inspire me all the time, do you know? But it doesn't mean that if you change or if you do something different or if, you know, I don't have any expectations of you. And I think that's the difference.
And I have to tell you one a distinction also with this for me is, well, not a distinction. This is why I'm so passionate about what your course is and why we brought it into the movement and into my organization, into our organization, because I saw that when somebody, that in that moment when somebody is using somebody as an influence and they're influencing their lives and they're depending on that person for that influence, there is this gap of internal authority. And so that was why I love this course so deeply, because it's allowing us as leaders to still stay and grow as big as we want, as much as we want, and feel confident in that, because we've learned these deeper parts of internal guidance. And then we can also help teach others to have that for themselves. So we're not just there saying, that's why the whole expert thing, why we talk about that in the movement, in the quickenings is, yeah, we may be more schooled in something, but that doesn't mean that we're not more schooled in something else that you might be. And so it's this balance and beautiful integration of us as a whole. That makes sense.
It not only makes sense, well, it makes sense to me.
That's really, yeah.
It's incredibly beautiful to me. And one of the things I love about what you're saying is that when we have this guru, I'll call it guru model, where there is somebody who knows and there are disciples of sorts, you know, then there's not room for the person at the top to grow either, do you know? And there also isn't like that ability to be inspired and move and grow by the people that are watching.
Exactly.
You know, there isn't that back and forth. And that's why, you know, I love our relationship. As you were saying, we're both leaders, we're both powerful, and we can be inspired and learn from each other all the time. And in that other model, we couldn't be, you know, and that's what happens. Like, I mean, I watch your organization and the people in this movement, and I'm touched and inspired all the time. And if I was like, if my mindset was, well, I'm a leader, then I couldn't allow myself to be touched and moved because I have to keep a certain persona.
Or the old perception or old paradigm of leadership.
Exactly, that's what I mean.
In like what we're talking about, the difference, there's a difference of understanding of what a leader is. Because we understand and own and possess ourselves and who we are, we can step in that leadership. And it does, and that's why, you know, people have mentioned a lot of times Beth and our relationship and watched it and stuff and had questions about it. And it's been interesting because I it's hard sometimes for me to explain, but really what it's come down to is we both step into that and we understand one another, that we can be in this change, that we can be imperfect, that we can be all these things. And again, to me, the most important
we can be ourselves.
And that's what I was just going to say. Actually, this is really about authenticity again. This comes back to authenticity. To be a truly authentic, heart-centered leader, this is what has to happen. It really does.
Yeah.
And because authenticity is one of my core values, I am committed to that happening here in this organization.
Yeah, I love that. And I would love to hear from Jennifer Hall.
Me too.
Because you've been doing the course, and I'm really curious about, like, so what was your expectation coming in, and has anything changed about that, or like different than you expected? Do you know what I mean?
And I'm sorry to interrupt, but I just realized it's already 9:52. How the heck did that happen?
How does that happen?
Because I talk a lot, and it's 3 minutes, you guys. So because we have the mastermind right after this. So I'm sorry, but Jen, please share if you're willing to.
So my review kind of on the coaching so far.
Yeah, and I'd like to know why you came in the first place, and is that being met, and is your expectations different than what you thought it would be?
So I came in the first place because I am an influencer and I'm a leader. And because I know that about myself, I knew that this course would be something that would be a way for me to offer more of myself to others. But I had no idea that it was going to shift my life so much and affect my life so much. And I'm going through each week and each distinction that we do and realizing that my world looks completely different than it did. How many weeks has it been? 11 weeks ago when I started the course. I deal with conflict differently. I deal with leadership positions differently. And everything just looks a little differently. I'm parenting my kids differently. I actually had a moment this morning where we did some emotional processing with my son when I took him to school, because he was in a lot of fear. And so I was able to be a leader and lead him into this emotional processing to be able to get rid of his fear so that he could go to school for a little while today. So that was a really big deal. I wouldn't have known how to do that before, and I probably would have just taken him back home. So it really has changed my life a lot.
Wow. Oh my
powerful,
gosh,
Jen.
that was beautiful. Thank you.
Well, and I'd love to, Beth, and maybe you have something, because we do have one more minute, and sorry to be so on time stuff.
I know, I would have
But
loved
it's good. It's a good thing, right? It's, again, one of
Yeah.
those things. Time is a leader. But
challenge. Right?
yeah, I know. But one of the things, too, I wanted to make sure that there is this connection why we brought in this as a coach. You know, I'm learning about coaching more than ever just by bringing this into our organization of what coaching really is. And again, coaching is being able to step into your leadership, ownership of who you are at a deeper level. That's what I've noticed more than anything.
Mm-hmm.
When we use the word coach, we're actually saying step into your leadership. So whether you end up, when you go through the course, whether you end up actually having clients as coaches or not, you certify as a coach, you now have and possess greater internal guidance of how to be a leader in your world.
And also, you know, whether you go into coaching as a profession or not,
Right.
If you want leadership in your family with your children, just like Jen was saying, in your community, like at your school, your children's schools, at your schools, at your churches, you can take this in with the certification. You can also, if you're in businesses, like if you're in an organization, you can take this into your organization. And there's no limit to it, or like there is, it doesn't matter where you are. You can use this and take the work to the next level with the people around you, which is what I like.
I love it. And that, on that note, I do want to just mention one quick thing for all those mothers out there. One of the things that we are going to be claiming in our organization is that motherhood is an actual profession.
Thank you.
And the reason is because there's so much conflict we found over the years. So I just want you guys to know that that's something when we put in our website, that is one of the industries that we want to help influence and have you influence as a mother, whether you work outside your home or you're a mother. It is a profession. That. So I just love you been bringing that up.
Hey, and don't forget, now we have a course. When is the course?
February 13th.
February 13th, the new certification course. Look, I don't care where you guys are at. If you're not having the fullness of the life you want, just take the course. It's an amazing, just personal experience, and we guarantee you can take this out into the people and influence the people in your lives with it. It will change your life.
I've seen people after the first session, the first week, already shift, and it's crazy. It really is amazing because again, it's just personal strength and power. So thank you everyone for being on. I'll put a link in the Zoom, and we'll put this out in the Quickening Movement page, and so people can watch the replay. But
thanks you guys for coming on. I just, even if we didn't get a chance to talk to you fully, I just love having you here.
Yeah.
Thank you.
All right, love you guys. Bye. See ya.